Okay, let's start with the business analysis session. So I would like to understand what is your expectation from this course, and what is the current profile that you hold, whether you're working, are you a student, or you have some idea about what is business analysis, or how is that in an industry, software industry in today's market. So could you please introduce yourself and also tell me what is your expectation from this course, or what is your current profile? Deepika, could you please start? Fatima?
Hi, hello.
Yeah, is this Fatima or Deepika?
Yes, this is Fatima. Um, Good evening, everyone. I hold a bachelor's degree in electronics and instrumentation engineering, and I am interested in business analysis because um, I feel that um, um, I feel that do I can fit well for the position because I have a bit of technical knowledge as well as communication skills, and I expect the trainers to train me well and make me ready to be fit for the market. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you for that. Can we have Gyan? Gyan, Ravi, Roopsi? Okay, so Gyan says, I want to gain thorough knowledge of BA and day-to-day job activities. Okay, that's good. And Ravi says he's a civil engineer and he wants to understand business analysis. Okay, that's good to know. Roopsi? Okay. Good to know what you are expecting and what's your current profile. So what is that you can expect from the business analysis course, or what is that you can join a software company as? So if you learn or if you understand the concepts of business analysis, you can take up a role called business analyst with software companies. So business analyst can be of two types. One is a software domain specific. The other one is purely domain specific business analyst role, wherein you will be completely dealing with a business specific subject. Could be into finance or healthcare or manufacturing industry, retailing, etc. But for a software business analyst, there are set of learnings that you have to do, and also understand what is the software development life cycle, and also get some knowledge about the quality assurance or the testing practices that which are followed in the software industry. It could be for a rapid application development, or a website development, or a standalone application development, or it could be a complete database development, etc. So any development, the business analyst is very much needed in the software industry, and there are varied roles that a business analyst would play, which we will see in detail. So what are the roles and responsibilities, competencies, and what are the various learnings that you will have to carry with you while you apply for a business analyst position in a software industry, and what are the key tools that you have to get hands-on with, and some project management knowledge as well. First, to understand what is business analysis. A business analysis, as the name defines, it is nothing but analyzing the business. So you, as a business analyst, you will play a major role in interacting with the stakeholder, one who gives the business to the company. So that will be the starting point where you get to understand what the requirement is or what is the expectation from your stakeholder or a client who is giving a project to the company. So that's where the business analyst will pitch in and start interacting with the client or the stakeholder to get to understand what is the requirement or what is the kind of a system that the stakeholder is asking for, or what is the system that will help the stakeholder improvise their existing process. So International Institute of Business Analysis, IIBA, it was started in March 2004 in Toronto. So they are coming up with a business analysis body of knowledge that's called Babcock Guide that has a complete definition or the standards that has to be followed while practicing the business analysis methodologies in a software industry. So how different is the business analysis or a business analyst role from a business system analyst, data analyst, data analytics? You know, the term analysis and analytics are used in different ways in different companies. So if you ask me what a business analyst does in a financial industry would be completely different from the role the business analyst plays in a software industry. So business system analyst would completely be working on system related tasks, so system related analysis. And again, we have a different stream called data analysis or data analytics, so in which the analyst would completely work only on data related tasks, unlike the business analyst. So business analyst will also share some of the tasks relating to data in terms of working on Excel or understanding the basics of SQL for data extraction, for testing purposes, etc., and for data visualization to some extent, where the business analyst would be expected to present his or her view in terms of a pictorial or a graphical representation. Could be a chart, or it could be some basic statistical or mathematical representation of the numbers, etc. So a business analyst will have a share of data analysis, but the actual role of a business analyst in a software industry is completely different from the role that a business systems analyst or a systems analyst or a data analyst plays in different types of industries. So this is what we have just discussed. How different is a business analyst role or a business analysis roles and job roles and responsibilities different from data analysis, data analytics, business analytics, financial analysis, quality assurance, etc. So a business analyst would play a role of a quality assurance when it comes to the testing process, or assuring that the end product or the software that goes to the client has met all the quality requirements. Would also work with the project management group or the project manager to see that the project milestones are met, as well as the business analyst will have different set of roles and responsibilities in comparison with the project manager, which we will see in a while. Business analyst is very much expected to have a thorough knowledge about different types of documentation. At different stages of software development life cycle, there are different types of documentation that gets created. So a business analyst should know good standards of how a documentation must be created, what are the different types of standards that is followed in different documentation, and technical writing concepts as well. So what is the need for a business analysis? Why do we have to do business analysis? Because we cannot just start something without an idea of what the requirement is, a complete and a thorough understanding of what the client or the stakeholder wants, right? A proper requirement, well understood, well cascaded to different levels of the software industry, will lead to a first level success of the software product that gets developed. So whatever is the end product, that should strictly follow the discussions that have taken place starting from the first interaction with the stakeholder and understanding the requirement, which means it should all be documented, it should be mutually agreed, and every stage there should be a verification and validation of the task or the documentation or the understanding that a business analyst gets from various people in the organization. It is not just the client or the stakeholder from whom he gets a project. After getting the requirement, the business analyst would, of course, work with different departments within a software industry, be it a testing team or quality assurance together. You know, most of the time quality assurance and testing, it's referred to as the quality team or a quality department. Again, business analysts may also have to work with people on floor, the employees on floor who are involved in a day-to-day process to understand what is the existing system and what is the system proposed. What is the existing system that can be understood only by going through the documents that have already been created and the system on which the analysts work. That's also referred to as desk show, or understanding on desk what the analyst is doing on the system, gathering the details from there, and business analyst would document and say this is what is the existing system and this is what we can propose, a new set of changes that can be proposed or enhancements that can be proposed. So end of the day, what is a business analyst targeting at? A business analyst would target at IT improvement, a process improvement, and the business improvement, right? A business improvement comes through giving a very strong and acceptable product to your client. Of whatever you discuss on the first day, when you deliver the product to the client, it should match what they have asked for, and that will happen only with sequence of interactions and proper information gathering, execution of whatever you have understood in a proper manner, in a systematic methodology. So a business analyst and a project manager or a project management office has to work hand in hand together on a day-to-day basis to see that the project milestones are also met on time, as well as the requirements, the design phase, the architecturing, solutioning, core development, implementation, testing, deployment, post-deployment control, etc. are met. Okay. So what is this process improvement? Many times, it is not just the software related thing that a business analyst would capture. There would be a need to first understand the process. If there is an existing process which is not going good and the business analyst wants to understand what is the process, the client says, okay, I'm not happy with the existing process. I don't have any new requirements for you, but I would say that the existing process must be improved, and then develop a tool or software that can reduce the glitches, system glitches that are currently being faced with the software which has already gone live to the production. So what would a business analyst do at that time? The business analyst has to understand the existing process and then come up with various process modeling diagrams to say this is the existing process and this is what we can propose a change to it, and this is, by doing this we can reduce the risk. So there the business analyst will have, he would also measure the risk that is involved by the current method of process which has a lot of issues in it, which is not well defined or structured. So a process improvement is also a task that a business analyst plays, and it is a very important input for new software development. IT improvement, of course, yes. Whatever is the existing system, how it has been created in the past, how the documentations are, and how well that can be improved over a period of time. So that is also the task of a business analyst. So ownership and importance. What is the importance of a business analyst? When we take up a task or when we take a job or a job role, we just think, okay, I'm starting off, if I'm a student, I think, okay, I'm going to start this. Is this going to be my career for the next 5 to 10 years? Or what am I going to do after that if I'm going to do this for 2 to 3 years of business analyst related work? So what way can I groom myself, or what can I become after say 3 years or 5 years or 10 years over a period of time. So what is going to be the learning curve and my career path if I get to be a business analyst, right? So a business analyst is not just a role of an analyst. It has a very wide industry level understanding for this particular position. Starting from executive sponsor, project owner, business lead, IT lead, project manager, account director, developers, quality assurance, user trainer, architect, database analyst, data analyst, and business analyst. So these are the various people, or these are the various roles with which a business analyst would directly interact, or he or she as a business analyst would also have a share of work on a day-to-day basis. A BA plays a mix and match role. BA must interact and work with each of the above mentioned roles. So there is no restriction at all, starting from interacting with the stakeholder, getting the business requirement, and then understanding the business requirement, conducting requirement workshops, getting required number of people from various departments to be a part of the requirement understanding, because a business analyst himself cannot get to understand the technical aspect, because a business analyst would have a minimal understanding of the technology that would be used. You know, he might know the basics of it, but what is the infrastructure existing in the company? Is it possible to accept this requirement from the client? If we accept it, what would be the positives and the negatives of it? So a business analyst as a single person cannot do all of these tasks together. So he has to interact with n number of people. So what happens when the interaction increases? It is not a job, you know, where he's just sitting there and 2 modules are given to him and he starts writing the code for it and finally sends it for testing. It is a communication related job, or you know, he has to interact and get exposure at each and every level of the organization. So as a business analyst, your exposure starting from an analyst level to a software engineer, senior software engineer, module lead, technical lead, architect, solution architect, your system architect, etc. So all these roles, by getting an exposure with various roles in the organization, a business analyst would get to understand different types of work that each of these roles play. So the exposure that a business analyst would get will be from a lower level to a C-level executive, be it a vice president or a director. You know, many times a business analyst will be asked to be a part of the strategic planning group. So when a business analyst becomes a part of a strategic planning group, he would directly get a very good exposure to understand what the business wants and what is the plan for set of next 1 or 2 or 3 years, and what are the projects in the pipeline and how things are moving financially. So then he would get to know the company financial status and you know how well the company is progressing. So a lot of varied activities that a business analyst could play in an organization, particularly in a software organization. And if you ask me, more than a QA or a tester or developer for that matter, or it could be a configuration manager who takes care of your software configurations, etc. So more than, you know, architect, solutioning architect, many roles here. A business analyst would get to know a lot by interacting with more number of people, and also the exposure or the business understanding and the company understanding is what is needed end of the day, right? So what is happening in the company and where do we stand, what is going on, you know, what is the next project that's coming up, etc. So this is something you can really gain, and you can be highlighted in the organization that you work for when you take up a business analyst position within. So as I already told you, roles and responsibilities of a BA: interact with the stakeholders, get analyzed, communicate and validate the requirements. Must understand the business problems and opportunities and recommend solutions accordingly. And this will come up, or this is something you can learn over a period of time. That comes only with experience, because initially you could have started with a particular domain, could be for FMCG domain, that is a consumer goods domain, where you will be dealing with consumer or food related domain, and your software development experience could be restricted to that. So later on they can assign another project to you where it's going to be completely different. It could be from a manufacturing domain or a telecom domain or a retail domain. So each and every domain, even before the software gets developed, you will not only the software development aspects, you should also understand the business aspects of it. It could be from an insurance domain, so you will have to understand what is a insurance or a policy life cycle. So I was given a project relating to insurance domain, so wherein I had to completely understand about the policy life cycle, which was very much new to me. But as a business analyst, you will always have the advantage of getting to know the domain as well as the software development aspects, technical viewpoints of it. Okay, BA should identify, understand, and document all needed team roles related to each defined activity for a project. BA must closely work with the project manager in achieving project milestones. There is a thin line between a project manager's role and a business analyst role, but both of them will work together. What is that difference between a project manager or a project management office and a business analyst group? So that we will see in the future slide, that clearly states what way a project manager day-to-day activity will differ from that of a business analyst's activities. BA will be involved in all requirements related activities, while the project manager will overlook the entire project. A project manager's goal will be more from a project point of view, whereas a business analyst's goal or business analyst's tasks will be much related to get the requirement, analyze the requirement, translate or create specifications for the understood requirements. It can be at a business requirement level or a functional level or a technical spec level. Okay, when it comes to a technical specification level, of course we will have the technical team and mainly the technical architects who would get involved. But primarily with business requirement specification, BRS or BRD is what we would call, and the functional requirement specification for the system, a business analyst would play a major role in getting all the artifacts required to prepare the BRD and the FRD. So we will see what are active artifacts in the future slides. BA is responsible for creating a business model like organizing meetings, business process workflows, UML diagrams, etc. So a business analyst is not only a person who's going to sit and create various diagrams and document. Day-to-day activity of a business analyst is not just to write documents and create flow charts or data flow diagram or ER diagram, etc. The role is completely different. Right, starting from organizing a JAD meeting, it's called as a joint application design meeting, where prototyping life cycle. In a prototyping life cycle, there are various people in the organization that would be involved in getting the requirements, analyzing the requirements, understanding the requirements, and also suggesting what are the other needs or other points that can come up during the discussion. So a well-structured system can be created only with interaction between various levels of people in the organization. It is not just one department that is going to, only the business analysis or a business analyst department that's going to be responsible for creating the complete specification, and then it gives it to the development team, and then the development process actually starts. No, that's not how it would work. So it all happens together. It is a combined effort that will give a very fruitful result when the software gets developed and deployed. Extract the required data or the requirements, anticipate what could go wrong with the collected requirement. Is it sufficient or is anything more required? Whom to interfere or whom to involve in the requirement collection process, or the software analysis process, understanding the business, understanding the requirement, and understanding the basic high-level design of it. Constraints. What are the possible constraints in the requirement that has been obtained from the stakeholder? Organize. Organize is the most important characteristic of a business analyst. This organizing skill could later develop into a team management skill, and over a period of time a business analyst would become a business analyst, lead business analyst, and then he would become a business analyst manager, or they call them as a business managers. Correct. So organizing is the most important skill in which a business analyst should understand whom to involve in which discussion. That is most important. While understanding the requirement, a business analyst may not get a quality person or a tester to attend the meeting, right? So many a times business analyst also follows Scrum or participates in the sprint, bi-weekly sprints, wherein whatever is the sprint log for 1 or 2 weeks of development would be completely discussed, and the business analyst would be a part of it and would be responsible for creating the minutes of the meeting to say what is the agenda of the meeting, what are the pending logs, and what are the tasks which have already been completed, and what are the ongoing activities, and what are the activities on which there is a pressure or areas of problem which has to be addressed immediately to ensure that the project milestones are met. Translate, of course, translate the business need from a stakeholder to the development group. Okay, in between, it could be understanding the business statement, or it could be understanding the existing process, understanding the existing system, etc. All of these should be taken care by the business analyst. A proper documentation should be created by him or her to let the other group to which the document gets cascaded. So it should be in a layman language, so the other groups can easily understand what is the project all about, or the task all about. Simplify. So as I told you, it should be at a layman language, which means it should be very, very simple. Even a complex problem statement should be broken into smaller pieces, and that should be presented in a way that it could be easily understood. So that is the responsibility of a business analyst, in understanding the existing system or a new system request that comes up. Ensure retaining to agreed requirements. Very much needed. Whatever has been agreed and whatever has been signed off with the stakeholder, that must be strictly followed, else the end product will be absolutely rejected. Be it how many ever $1 million. I've seen this in the past. If it is not matching their requirement that was initially discussed, that has been signed off on each and every stage of the software development life cycle, it would be completely scrapped end of the day. And after 6 months or 1 year or 2 years of effort that's been put in to create the software would go in vain. So that should never happen, and business analyst is a core person along with the project manager to ensure that the software gets developed as per the requirements, and it meets all the project milestones as committed with the stakeholder, and it gets deployed or given to the client on time. Verify and validate. Verify, validate, verify and validate. Most important words that should always be there in the mind of a business analyst, because each and every stage, whatever the business analyst gets to know, he should first verify that. Is this correct? And then validate. If that is getting implemented, after verifying and acceptance from the business analyst, it would go for a development, or there would be some sort of an implement that happens from what has been listened, what has been understood, what has been verified, and then gets developed, and that should be validated. So whatever gets developed doesn't mean it matches whatever was understood. So there is always a difference between what is understood and what is the actual thing that has come up. It could be a process, it can be a software created, etc. So validation is always needed. So what are the competencies that a business analyst should have? Analytical thinking and problem solving, a must. There is no spoon feeding for a business analyst. Varied level of thinking is very much needed, not from just one angle. A business analyst should think from varied point of view, it could be from, domain specific, or it could be from quality assurance perspective, various ways of analyzing the requirement that comes his way or a project that comes his way. Decision making skills, very much needed. A business analyst should be firm on the decisions that he or she makes, because what they decide would of course matter a lot. End of the day, if the software fails, it's going to be a huge loss for the company. So the decision taken must be accurate, and it should be in favor of whatever is being carried out, the project that is being carried out. So that is very much needed. Wrong decisions can create disasters. Managerial skills, over a period of time, you get to meet a lot of people, you communicate a lot, and over a period of time you will also involve a lot of people in the meeting, you get the organizing skills, and then you become a lead. So you start leading it. You go tell someone, this is what you have to do. This is in the quality assurance group. So this is what you're going to do. You go to a software engineer and say, okay, this is the module that was given to you for development. Where are we with that? Are you done with that? Is the or are you having any issues there? So all these, there can be a phase when the development team gets back to the business analyst and says, okay, this is the technical spec that we have got from you. And when we look at it, we have an issue in coding this particular requirement. For example, it could be a time limit that is given between one web page to another web page, screen movements, navigations. So it could be, a server issue, or it could be a web service issue, but a lot of issues can come up when the software gets developed. Just the technical specification and the functional spec that goes to the development group wouldn't be sufficient at all, and mainly the problem would arise when it is with the quality assurance group, because quality assurance group would create test cases for each of the test scenarios that gets identified from the requirement specs. So that again, the software testing process is completely different. Other than the software development lifecycle, we have a software testing lifecycle, which we will see during our quality assurance session. What are the various types of testing? What is the software testing lifecycle? What are the best methods of creating a test plan? How a test plan is created? How a test environment is studied and set, how the test gets executed, how the test plan gets executed, what is a test scenario, within a test scenario, how many test cases can be written, what is manual testing, what is a white box testing, black box testing. There's a lot to discuss in the quality assurance part, which we will see in detail. So other than that, criticism handling, of course, not every point that a business analyst brings to an audience would be accepted. So positive criticism and negative criticism handling, negotiation skills, good communication skills, interaction skills, emotional intelligence, most important, because there could be stages where the opposite person could lose his temper because of some discussion that's going on. To say, a developer can say, no, this is highly impossible for me. How can you agree to this with stakeholder? I've seen this, that could even, break up as a clash between business analyst and quality group. A tester can say, no, this is what the input has to be. How do you say this should be the input to the system? This is highly impossible. So you will have to be on hold, you'll have to be on control and say, okay, we will solve this problem, and let's see, what has gone wrong with the discussions we have had in the past, and let me see, how I can get this rectified for you. So that is most important, where you take your level one step ahead of the opposite person to whom you are discussing. So that's where your management skills would play a major role. So a business analyst would be playing a managerial role as well. So having some good knowledge about the management aspects that exist in an organization would much help. So other than these soft skills, we also have software interpersonal skills. We also have the software applications and tools of programming languages knowledge. Yeah. So this is your this is a must, because day-to-day activity you should understand what software are they talking about, which technology is this. So when they say Java, within Java there are so many technologies, Java web related, Java standalone application related, .NET, what are the different frameworks in .NET. You don't have to understand the complete technical details of it, but a basic understanding of what are the different technologies that exist in the market. And because when a technical team gets involved in translating the business requirement to a system development or a system design, so which technology are they going to use to achieve the requirement that has come up, the business requirement that has come up, or a process requirement that has come up. So that's when you should have some basic knowledge about this. When they say the latest technologies that are being used for development, be it big data. So what is Hadoop, what is Scala, some basic understanding of these terminologies, or could be a core development using Ruby on Rails. So these are all something new, when they say Ruby on Rails is what we're going to use. So you might have heard HTML and JSP or PHP. So what is this Ruby on Rails? So what is it all about? So always keep upgrading yourself in terms of what are the new technologies that come up in the market. So that's about it. BA deliverables, which I've already told you, mostly into requirements related documentation, creation of specification, could be a business requirement spec, functional spec, technical requirement spec. Spec is a short form of specification. Specification is nothing but giving a strong documenting the understanding at a business level, at a system functional level, and at a technical level. So if I have to put it in very easy terms, this is how I can define a BRD, FRD, and a TRD. So other than that, we have the requirement traceability matrix, which is very much important with the quality assurance or the testing group to say, which requirement, how many test scenarios are there, and how many test cases are there. So for one requirement, how many test cases are there, and that would get represented in the form of a matrix, which we will see in detail. Business process diagrams, creation of workflow diagrams, user story writing, UML diagrams. So some of the UML diagrams could be your activity diagram, sequence diagram, etc., which I will tell you what it is. RACI matrix that defines the responsibility, accountability, that would be in a matrix format, and test plans, approvals and sign-offs from various stakeholders, not only your client. Stakeholder is not only your client. If you're working for a different department within your organization that is a part of the software development, that also becomes you have to consider them as your stakeholder. Tomorrow they can say, no, this is not what you have told me. You said something different. So always, get an approval of what is being discussed, get an agreement with them and sign it off, and make sure as a business analyst, whatever you hear, that should be on document. Oral conversation and what you hear is not enough to achieve a very good end result. There can be a lot of confusions or miscommunications that can happen in between. So your basic point that you should always have in your mind is have it documented and approved with a sign-off. So this is most important for a business analyst. So as I already told you, a business analyst task could differ from a software industry and a domain-specific industry. Excuse me. So with a software industry, a business analyst would be involved in initiation phase, planning phase, executing phase, monitoring and controlling phase, closing phase. And domain-specific industry, a business analyst could be a part of the process group, understanding the process operation, learning the required skill sets and executing the process, monitoring the process phases, controlling errors, and then process closure would take a long time compared to a software closure. A software development could happen, say, within a few weeks, months, quarter, yearly, or it could go to, say, 2 to 3 years. Bigger softwares, robotic softwares, or animation softwares, or some advanced technology-based softwares that requires granular level of development efforts would really take a much longer time compared to the other processes. So here is a document that can give you an idea of what a business analyst would do in each of these phases. Okay, so whatever we have discussed, what are the key techniques? Business improvement, process improvement, IT improvement. Business improvement, would be more into strategy analysis and systems thinking. Process improvement would be into value chain analysis or process modeling, primarily into understanding the process, creation of process modeling, process diagrams, process mapping, etc. IT improvement, to work on the betterment of requirements engineering and systems modeling. So now let's briefly see what is a software development lifecycle. So a business analyst in the software industry would surely work only on software development lifecycle, all the phases of a software development lifecycle. So we will see in detail of what are the various stages of a software development lifecycle. It starts with the requirement gathering, that is interacting with your stakeholder and then gathering the requirements and then cascading that to different groups of your organization who's going to implement it. Next comes the analysis and the design. So that's where, you know, the requirement that is gathered gets converted to the required system design. To design the system, of course, analysis of the requirement is very much needed. And then the core development of the software happens. And then we have the testing phase where the developed software gets tested. And then the deployment of the software either to the client location or to the production group. Requirement analysis and process, we will see this in detail as to what is a process, where is this term used. Just give me a minute, please. I'm trying to show you some documents for which I need to log in. Okay, so this is a sample retail analytics document which I have created for one of the clients. So if you see this as a Word document, okay, so a simple understanding of what the retail analytics is all about and what are the various options that you can present to your prospective client. You know, not always a client would come to you for a business. There is a possibility that you have to also get back to your client or approach one of your existing client or a new client to say, you know, this is a kind of a system which we have already developed and we can have this business done for you. So if you think that, you know, you require a very well-defined system for retail analytics, this is our existing solution. So now when you see most of the companies these days, when it comes to the analytics domain, they are creating their own solutions. Could be, you know, some popular companies which I don't, you can check on web. They have their own modules to create a predictive analytics or their own software that creates customized business needs for a client. You know, when a client has some need, that there are some softwares which can be very easily customized. The base of the software will be ready. It is only the customization or the client requirement, a specific requirement that needs to be altered on the existing system. So this is one such project, where I had to propose a solution to the retail analytics. What are the various types of retail analytics solutions that are already existing, and what are the systems that are there, and what are the different ways of approaching the existing system that a client could make use of for getting his business, his retail business, much better than the current stage in which he or she is. So here is where I have clearly defined, have an executive summary. So this is how your documentation would go. Your first page, this is just a base proposal document. This we would refer to as a request for proposal. Okay, we have RFQs and RFPs. So this is where I'm telling the client, okay, this is what I'm proposing to you. Just go through the solution that which we have, and if you're happy with it, then you can get back to us, and we will do the necessary customizations needed for your business. So I say retail analytics solution, challenges to intelligence applied. What is the approach that we're going to use? What's omni-channel retailing, assortment planning, identify the store location, manage store operations. So what that means, what are the different ways in which this can be achieved, or what does the system need that can be used by the stakeholder to get their business run more efficiently. This is a very simple document. I haven't followed any IIIE standards for these, or IEEE standards, or I haven't followed any of the CMMI level, or when it comes to your FMCG, you have GIGW standards. So I can show you those documents at a later stage, what are the various standards that have been applied on different types of documents, be it your business requirement, functional requirement, and a technical spec. But this is a very simple requirement where you approach a client to say this is the kind of solution that we would like to offer. Okay, and these are some of the sample screenshots of your application, that existing application which has been created and that can be customized for your client. Something like this. So all these would be the task of a business analyst, just to give you an idea of what you would be doing as a business analyst. Templates. So we will, as a part of this course, we will be sharing templates relating to minutes of the meeting, business requirement documentation, functional requirement documentation, technical documentation. How do you create artifacts? So what are artifacts? Artifacts are the byproducts of your prototyping life cycle. So it could be your UMLs, use case diagram, activity diagram, a sequence diagram, or a state chart diagram, or whatever is a document that you create, that itself is referred to as an artifact. It could be your BRD, functional requirements spec, etc. So we'll give you templates and clearly tell you, which is a kind of a template that you have to use in which scenario. Maybe initially to start with 2-3 months of practice is much needed to understand which template should be used for which scenario. What is a functional requirement and what is a business requirement, to understand the difference between these. But over a period of time, once you get the hands on, it's going to be much easier for you. So requirement elicitation, how well the requirement analysis is done, brainstorming, document analysis, focus group, interviews, discussions, observations, prototyping, storyboarding, requirement workshop, surveys, questionnaires, everything. So all these are a part of the requirements elicitation or the requirements gathering. In short, we can say it's called as a requirements gathering process, which is the first stage for your software development lifecycle. So we'll see that in detail. And most important is the unified modeling language. So here is a sample activity diagram. So what is UML? UML is nothing but a unified modeling language. Easiest way to tell you what a UML is, it means whatever is your understanding about a process or a step within a process, you're going to pictorially represent it. So what are the different pictorial representation of it? One could be your activity diagram. If you know a flow chart, your activity diagram is very much similar to a flow chart. Okay, what is the flow or what is the sequence in which the events are going to happen? Search store, found, not found, browse for store, view the item, add to the cart, view cart, update cart, checkout. It's a very simple process in which the end user is trying to do an activity. What is he trying? What is that activity? He is trying to search for a store online. He's trying to find an item there. He's trying to add that to the cart, view the cart, update to the cart to add more items that he has purchased, and then he does a checkout by paying. So this is the activity diagram that clearly states what are the activities that a user does to search a site and place an order for his or her choice of product. Here is a sequence diagram. Here's a customer. He browses an online bookstore. There's a query that hits the database. There is a reply, and then the list of books that he has searched for could be comedy category books. So those books get displayed. So what is the sequence of action that is taking place? Sequence diagram is nothing but what is the sequence of action that is taking place. Browse, go to that website, browse, that query hits the database, there's a reply, and the book list gets displayed. Next is a state chart diagram. So here each of the states will be explained. So a courier gets dispatched, delivered to the end user, delivered, that's the end. Courier gets dispatched, not delivered to the user. Why? There is no one at house. Then indicates end of the chart. It's undelivered, which means either it has to go back to the person, the sender, or it should be there with the courier company for the next day delivery, etc. So this says, which state what is happening. So these could be different representations which we will see in detail during our sessions. So next is a use case modeling, which is very much needed when it comes to a software industry. So with respect to use cases, we will see all possible types of use cases, and we will also see what is an include, what is extends, what do you mean by generalization, what is a dependency. So these are different notations that are available within your use case diagram modeling. So for use case diagram creation, we can use Visio, MS Visio, or a Visual Paradigm. So Visual Paradigm also has a very good user interface to easily create the use case diagrams. So here is a sample use case text or a write-up followed by the use case diagram. So we say, what is the primary usage of a use case that is getting created, who are the actors, navigation, etc. So these are the informations that we gather, and this is how we will create the use case diagram. So system administrator is an actor. So what are the various steps that a system administrator would do, and what are the alternative flow, if there is any alternate flow to that particular task within a with a system. For example, there exists a website, okay, into which the user must log in and create some information. It could be a finance related, or it could be a hospital management. So the front office person or a receptionist must log in, and then they have to create a new account or a new patient information in the database. So the sequence of actions will be, log in using the correct credentials, and then navigate to the patient ad screen, enter the required patient's personal information, and then click on the save. So what happens? The information added gets saved. So to say, it is much easier, but when you do it as a task, you have to create the use case scenario for it, give an explanation to it, and then create a diagram that can clearly define the steps. So next is the data modeling or the process model. So this we will see in detail, but here I would like to show you an example of it. So this is one sample. It can either be created in a simple Word document, or using Visio or Visual Paradigm, or any of the tools that are available. There are many tools that are available. So this is a simple process flow that had created for one of the existing processes. So it's a sample process that I've taken. So if you see here, this is how it is. What are the different levels in which the process goes through, what is the flow, etc. So we will see this. This would be the day-to-day task a business analyst would be expected to do. There are many tools that are available. You don't have to. Previously, we just had the Word. We didn't have any advanced tools, but now there are so many tools that are available that can help you do these kind of models and diagrams much easily and in a very timely fashion. So next, what are the business analysis tools that are popular and that you have to learn? Diagramming. For sure, you must know either Microsoft Visio or Visual Paradigm. Word processing. Word, you need to have a complete understanding of what are the various features that are available in MS Word. If you haven't taken up training in MS Office, I suggest you please learn MS Word and MS Excel to some extent, because here we will be covering Microsoft Word. So I can show you some of the advanced navigation, shortcuts for navigations, how do you create a table of content, how do you update the table of content, etc. So that is very much needed as a business analyst when you follow the IEEE standards. So next is Microsoft Excel. That is very much needed for analysis and data crunching. Say if they say how many defects have come up and how do you classify the defects. So what are the different ways in which the defects get classified when you give them a defect report. So for all that, Microsoft Excel is very much needed. And then process automation. Some of the companies expect a business analyst to be smart and to get the task done at the earliest. They don't want same repetitive tasks to be done again and again, for which they would expect a simple macro development skill set or Excel VBA. If you learn Excel VBA, that's a real good thing for your career, I would say. Data extraction, you would surely work on one of these databases, SQL Server, Oracle, Access database, because all the data that gets saved on it could be your software testing related information or whatever is a project related information, etc. Somehow the other way, they would expect you to write some simple SQL statement or at least have a knowledge of how SQL statements can get executed. So for that, I will show you simple SQL statements that can be written on SQL Server. Most of the time, it's going to be SQL Server. The syntax of the SQL that you write wouldn't vary a lot when it is at a basic level or either on a SQL Server or SQL is a short form for SQL Server, Oracle and Access. Wireframing, very much needed to give a prototype of whatever is the application that you develop. It could be a website or it could be a standalone application or a rapid application that gets developed. So for that we can use a pencil or Balsamic. These are the two tools that are available. Requirements management, this is the tool that is available, but we will not go through the Rational Requisite Pro as of now. So I will show it to you on the Excel file. Rational Pro again is a tool where your requirements go in as different numbers. Each of your requirements gets collected there, that gets cascaded onto different systems. Collaboration, Google Documents and Google Spreadsheet are the easiest way. Presentation, Microsoft PowerPoint. Please learn PowerPoint because a business analyst life is all about Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. Even a minimal knowledge of Excel would work, but complete knowledge of Microsoft Word and PowerPoint is very much needed. So as I already told you, STLC, that is a software testing life cycle. What are the different ways, how do we test a software, what is test planning, how the test gets designed, how the environment gets set, how the test execution happens, what are the different types of testing, what is a bug report, what is a defect or a bug report, what are the different the criticalities, or how do we define a defect. So what are the different severities, what we would call it as. So it could be at a moderate level, high, low, or critical, or escalation. It's a level 1 severity, means it has to be addressed immediately, and it depends on how many users are getting affected when the software is installed, when it's gone live to the production. So as I told you, the project manager's role differs from a business analyst role. How? A business analyst is all about the business. He's going to only worry about the business, existing system, to-be system, what requirements, what is the work plan, what is the workflow, what is the solution scope, different types of documentation, validating requirements, supports the testing, gathers the risks, and sees to that it is not reoccurred in the next phase of the software development lifecycle. What does a project manager do? He's only worried about the project. He wouldn't interfere on what is happening with the requirement. Did the requirement change? Of course, you know, that would be captured on a project, but it is not the project manager's responsibility to cascade it to the development group. A project manager will capture that there has been a requirement change, but translating it, creating a spec of it, and then giving it to the development team to say, you know, please make this correction and then get the unit testing done, or put it to the integration testing, system integration testing, etc., is the task of a business analyst. So a project manager, what he does, he creates the project scope, then he estimates how many resources would we need, which teams are required, develops the project plan, coordinates the project, manages the project risks, constraints and dependencies, reviews and accepts the project, performs project closeout, and captures whatever has been the learning throughout the project life cycle and ensures that it is not repeated in the next project that he will handle. So there is a difference, but of course a business analyst would work with a project manager, and a project manager will also work with a business analyst on a day-to-day basis. Okay, the next thing is, as a business analyst, you would also need to present your data, right? So for that, I will show you some of the charts that are there on Excel where you can easily present the data. Or there is a tool called Tableau, which most of the companies are using these days, and they expect a business analyst to have some hands-on with Tableau. So we'll also give you some basic idea of how you can import your data from Excel, simple Excel file, and how quickly you can present it, create a visualization in Tableau, and you can send it to your, it could be to your project manager or to your stakeholder, etc. You know, this is a very technical way of speaking, you know, rather than having everything in text. This is a better way of presenting your data. And some basic statistics like what is a standard deviation, what is a median, or what is an average, some basic details that you would need to create some visualizations that is very much needed to present your data. This I would like to show because at times a business analyst is also expected to be a part of the planning group or the strategic management group. So that's when your graphical representations would become a major plus point for you in your career. Okay, we will also help you with your resume creation, understanding your current skill sets and how well you can put your business analysis learning into your resume, and we will also prepare you for the interviews that you could take up. What are the possible interview questions that can come up and how well you can tackle those questions and get through your job. Okay, that's about it, friends. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, Rupsi says I'm an MBA. Okay, I have a chat from Rupsi. She says I'm an MBA with work experience in digital marketing. With what domain specific BA training do you recommend for me? I do not have a technical or software background. Okay, so digital marketing is a part of digital marketing analytics, or in today's market the digital marketing is completely handled as an analytic solution, but of course there are so many tools that are getting developed and within software companies that deals with such marketing tool development and implementation. If you learn much about the BA, you can very well get to know a lot about your domain specific, because you see you already have an experience with digital marketing. So if you also get hands-on with the software development, so a combination of that could really work with companies that are mainly dependent on such marketing software. So nowadays, the email marketing process has become a key source of income for most of the companies, and they are coming up with many such tools in the many such customizable tools are getting created. So that's where Roopsi, if you learn the concepts of BA, your combination of your domain knowledge about a digital marketing along with the BA skill sets can really take you places, is what I would say. And that's okay if you're not technical or you don't have a software background, not an issue at all. But basically, there are some concepts like, how do you create a business requirement document or a functional requirement document? How do you create user story? So these are the concepts, that is very much needed as a BA, not only in a software industry, it is applicable to the other industries as well. Even if it is a domain specific industry, they will expect you to create a document, right? So if you're learning these BA concepts, you would be very confident to say, this is the standard in which the documentation has to go through and this is how things have to work. You're welcome. Can I take the next question, please? Fatima. Deepika, Fatima, Gyan, Ravi, Sajila, any questions for me, please, that I can answer or clarify?
Hi, Lakshmi.
Hi, Fatima. Please go ahead.
It's Sajila here.
Yes, Sajila. Hi, Sajila.
Hi, Lakshmi. I think I joined the meeting a bit late, but I think I'm good. I don't have much questions because in the earlier sessions that was held 2 days back, I attended that too. So I think most of my doubts were cleared by then, but the only thing I am stuck is about my experience and everything. And I spoke to Kavya about it. I think she's going to help me out with all those, the resume preparations and going into the market once we are done with the course.
Sure, that's great to know.
Yeah, so I think that's it. I think it's going good, yeah.
Thank you, Sajila, and we look forward to having you on our training.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Any more questions that I can take, please? Participants, Gyan, Ravi, Fatima, do you have any questions for me?
Hello?
Yes, Fatima?
No, I do not have any questions. Thank you.
If you're not able to speak, you can type the question. I will read it out and I'll answer it for you.
Hi Lakshmi, it's Sajla again. I just had a question. If by chance, if we are not able to attend one of your classes, so what happened about the session?
All right, Sajila, I guess I can go ahead and answer that question to you.
Oh yeah,
Well,
hi Sunil.
if you're unable to go ahead and attend the session, don't worry. Well, each and every session is being video recorded. So we would be going ahead and sharing those on the sample blog, on the blog access, which will be provided to you. I'm sure you saw me giving you a demo of the blog, which you would get post your enrollment with us.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Great. No worries. Yeah, Fatima, I guess you had some question. You can go ahead.
No, it was very clear. I do not have any questions as of now. Thank you.
Deepika had posted a question. I don't have a BA background. Can I start a fresh career in BA from start? Lakshmi.
Yes, Deepika. Yes, sure. Sure, I can take that question. Yes, It's a very good plan for you. I would say it's a very good career plan, because once you start as a business analyst, I've seen that a business analyst get groomed into, either they move into a quality assurance group or they move into a project management group. So there are different verticals that you can branch out after a set period of time, but starting as a business analyst would give you a very good exposure into different fields of software development that happens, different areas of software development that happens within a company. And moreover, you will also get to handle different domains. It is not one specific domain that you're going to work on. So one, your communication is going to improve, your exposure, your way of interacting with different level of people in the organization. So all these things would come only by experience, right? So it's a very good chance for you to get good knowledge both from your career point of view, as well as improvising yourself in terms of getting to meet people and getting a very good network that's going to really help you build a very good career.
And Deepika, I'm Chakri, one of the colleagues to Lakshmi from TechyBees. And I also want to say this, I'm not sure what your current background is, what you work in. The concepts that actually business analyst teaches would broadly cover many other aspects of software development lifecycle. It does certainly introduce you to various other things, for example, if you are coming in from a specific background of functional, any kind of functional specialization, if you want to get into the software industry of that particular functional area, the kind of exposure that you would get through this class or, this kind of training would position you not necessarily just as a business analyst. Maybe you can actually start looking into another subject matter expertise area of that particular functional line, or maybe you can even think into a general QA. Fundamental, what you're understanding is you're going to understanding out of this course is you will be able to see the life cycle of the software development, and you can associate to your functional area. So that's one benefit that you would be seeing. Now, getting back to your question, will anybody take a person with a BA 0 experience? It all depends on how good you are into the industry area where you want to put yourself in. So as I said, if you are going from as a subject matter expert, now somebody mentioned actually they are civil engineer, right? I think Ravi mentioned that he's a civil engineer and no BA experience. So let me take an example of being a civil engineer. And if he wanted to get into a software industry where he is going into a civil engineering oriented software, right? Let's say a CAD software company. Yes, he can go in there as a product owner, which is very similar to, a BA role. So he would be putting himself as a, or maybe a quality assurance guy, who understands the user requirements and who can test the software against the requirements. So the process here is how to analyze what the user's requirements are and how to apply into various stages of software development. And you could come from different places. That's how I see it.
Anybody has any other questions, folks? Well, if that is all, I guess we have come to the end of this wonderful live demo by Lakshmi. But folks, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach us out, either me or Kavya. Well, our telephone number is 603-689-9045, or you can email us at info@techybees.com. Either me or Kavya would surely respond to the email to take things forward. For enrollments, you can please write into us, and we'll be more than happy to go ahead and get you guys on board for the training program for business analysis. Well, guys, thank you so much. Everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye now.